Okay, hi and welcome. My camera is hunting. My camera is hunting. What? All right, so anyway, when you hear that term is, how much does your camera hunt? Like, is it, what we're really talking about is the lenses. Now, I tried it with my other lenses, but it was actually, it's like it was working too good. I figure in the house here, there'd be low enough light or whatever. But some lenses are going to hunt more than others, and some cameras are going to hunt more than others. It's basically, I'd rather show you than tell you, but it's how long it takes your camera to actually focus on something. So I'm going to do something real extreme here. I'm not in macro mode. What I'm going to try to do is focus in on something. See, it's hunting there. See, it just can't, it's too close. I need to be, at this extension, I need to be about 6 feet away. See, it won't focus. So that's just an example of what hunting is. It's not necessarily that it can't focus. It's just that some cameras take a little bit longer to find their target, so to speak. And you typically get that with bigger lenses in lower lighting. And when that happens, what happens is that you're either going to need a lens that's sharper and faster, or you might have to change lens. For example, in a low light, this one at 70, this starts at 70, goes out to 300. This one starts at 18 and goes out to 70. So in a lower light situation, I know this lens at 70 has a slightly different picture angle, but it also, just to show you, this lens here, this Nikkor lens, lets in a lot more light. This is, I think, 63 mil. This is 67 mil. So you could see that this lens, both of them are set at 70 right now. This is going to let in a lot more light. So this lens might help you out. So if it's the camera being slow, which older technology like this tends to, this camera's like 2003. So a lot of the stuff's starting to wear out on it too. Not that this camera has it. Trust me, this camera is it's rated for 130,000 shots, and I've probably taken close to 1 million with it. I kid you not. Like, I'm not saying that as a figure of speech. I literally probably take close to 1 million shots. Speaking of shot, I must get myself in there. So if you get a camera that's a little bit slow and pokey, there's not much you can do about it. Like, this camera does focus pretty fast, and when you get like a 1.8 lens or 1.2 lens, the fastest I've ever had was a 1.4 lens. It was, I think, a 35 mil or a 50 mil. I can't remember. I've had a couple of lenses. I ended up settling on these two because it's such a useful package. Basically, I've got 18 to 300 mil between these two lenses. Now, you can get a lens, for example, 18 to 300 mil, and there's, I think, Tamron makes one 18 to, how am I doing for time here? Sorry, just got to see how I'm doing for time. They make one 16 to 300 mil. Now, a lens with a long focal length like that in low light is going to be hunting all the time. It's never going to get enough light in there unless it's a nice, bright, sunny day. So that's the trade-off you're going to get with different lenses. So for people who don't want a camera that's constantly hunting, a lot of times it's your lens and not your camera. That said, this lens, I've been in dark bars with it, taking pictures of bands, as well as with, I think I have a 35 to 50 mil, a 50 mil and a 35 standard lens. I've had those, and those lenses were always really fast to respond in low light. So my camera wasn't hunting as much. That said, I'm sure some of it is the camera itself, but this camera still seems to respond fairly quickly in good light conditions. At 300, sometimes if there's like a bird or something on the wire, it's like it takes a while. It seems to pick up. Say like I'm taking a picture of a bird in a tree or whatever. It seems to hunt a bit more. Again, it's just a term. So if you're looking to upgrade your camera, that could be something you might want to say. Hey, you know what? I want a camera that focuses in a lot sharper, a lot faster. More instantaneous, but you're going to probably pay a bit more for that. But that's something when you're doing a camera review or looking at camera reviews, find out there's this thing, the camera itself, never mind the lens, because the camera is really only as good as the lens. I say spend more on your lenses than your camera. You usually get better that way. But, depending on what your budget is, and if you have to kind of go 50-50 between your lenses and your camera, I'd go like 60-40. Buy 40% of your budget on your camera and the other 60 on your lens. And a lens can easily, like this lens here was like $450 back in the day. This one I got used for $100 and something. New they're about $300-400. So you get a cheaper lens. Get a bunch of cheap lenses. You'll get a lot of different focal ranges, but you might not like the response of the lenses. And if you're doing action photography or something like that, you might find that if your camera's constantly hunting, you'll be missing your shots. If you're doing wildlife, a sharper, faster lens will definitely get you there. This lens, I believe, is what does this one start off? This one is a 3.5 to 4.5. When you get it in 70 to 18 to 70 mil DX G-style lens. Now, this is a great lens, don't get me wrong. But if it was say a fixed 50 or a fixed 24 or 35 or something like that, it would probably be even faster, that type of thing. So it wouldn't hunt as much. So that's just something to keep in mind. So when people are talking about hunting, that's what they're looking at. And I'm in the house here to kind of get purposely low light. That's why the lighting isn't so good right now. So I'll leave it at that. So yeah, there we go. Have yourselves a great day, eh?